Hello and welcome to Gwent. So, the open beta is just about to come out and the devs decided to make one colossal change. They decided to remove the faction passives and the faction abilities. And they mainly decided to make this change because it simply limited design space. And frankly, what was good? Because the decks that synergized with these faction abilities were always the best. In the closed beta, Consume Master that can carry over a huge unit every single round was the best monster. Also, Squirtle was fairly limited to trying to win first round to get a card advantage from the faction ability second round. In some cases, you just made your opponent go first 3 times. And that's just really crazy. And Skellige always were limited to playing the long game because their known goals get buffed up by 1 every following round. And Nor Realm got the +2 for every gold unit on the board, but only Henselt benefited from that because he was the best leader with the gold strategy. And Radovid and Foltest just completely ignored that. So that's obviously not the way to go. It was fine while it lasted, but I'm really glad that they made this change. The only faction without a clear-cut way to glory was Nilfgaard. And their faction ability was that they can redraw a card in the second turn and the third turn. And the devs decided to keep this ability and make it baseline for every single faction. And this is not an ability that defines your strategy by any means. This is just nice to have. It allows you to run more situational cards and also allows you to run the cards that, like for example Ciri, that if Ciri already provides her value, like you place her, you get back the card, you can then mulligan her away and get extra value from her. Ogfist is the same thing. So any card that returns to your hand is more value with this change. And just allows you to be more prepared. So you can afford to have one off card in your hand because you can have a shackle, for example, and that's totally fine because if the shackle doesn't work out, you can just ditch it and you're fine. But if it does work out, of course, you included it for a good reason. And these faction abilities are not gone by any means. They decided to work them into the units. So, for example, Skellige has a new keyword. It's veteran. So, certain units actually get the current faction ability in them. So they get buffed up by 1 and 2 in the following rounds. So if you want to play that strategy, you can, but that is not your only way in Skellige. And I'm really happy that is the case. Also, monsters, for example, Akimara is a 3 power now that is resilient and can eat a unit. So you can still play that Akimara, eat something and stays on the board strategy if you wanna, but that is definitely not your only choice. And Consume Master will be definitely viable for all those who really love it. And they also decided to change the faction leaders because they're gonna be the ones that define your strategy. For example, Aithne is basically a glaze. She's a 5 strength and she plays a special card from your graveyard. And we know for a fact that a glaze is just a really fun card to have, and this basically confirms that the faction leaders have the same strength, or supposed to have about the same strength as the gold cards. So they are very impactful, they define your strategy, and it's good to see that that they are good. And looks like every single one of them are actually a lot more viable now, and should very much define your strategy. King Bran, maybe unchanged, but he and all of them actually get dropped on the board. So Aithne, yeah, it's basically played as a glaze because you play a 5 strength gold unit that cannot be affected by most effects. Actually, all effects, of course, Shackle, unless specifically stated effect, it cannot be affected by it. And King Brand is the same thing. You just discard units from your deck. Elder Banquet, that's just the the name of the deck, but it's the Unseen Elder, who is basically a Karen, or 4-strength Karen, that eats units, just like a Karen. So that is the deck-defining card in that specific Consume Monster type. And for example, Emir there is returns an ally to your hand, then you can play any card from your hand. So it's basically like a 3-strength decoy that doesn't make you replay the same card. You can just play whatever you want. And the devs are planning to release like 2 leaders for every faction by the end of this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. And this is what I want to see, like the faction leaders defining your strategy instead of your faction. And I believe this alone could, like, I don't know, like triple the available strategies per faction, because you won't be limited by your faction ability and faction passive. And most important with Scoia'tael, maybe that was the more troublesome ability, that you know, you were just so limited in how you play the game. Not even what you play, but how you play. Because the Consume Monster, like the monster ability, defined what you played. And the Northern Realm ability also defined what you played, if you just really wanted to like cheese and go for the best. But the Skellige and the Scoia'tael faction ability defined how you played. Because as a Scoia'tael, you wanted to win the first round. As a Skellige, you probably didn't mind just going for a free round game and just dropping some fat dudes at the end, because they got buffed up by 2. And it was fairly likely that you can at least win with the even amount of cards, or sometimes even with a card down. So, and you can still do that with the appropriate cards, but not all strategy revolves around that. And yeah, that's about it. So faction passives and abilities are gone now. Everybody's on Nilfgaard, basically, when it comes to the faction passive and ability. And I played around a lot with that faction ability, and I think it's gonna fit just great, and will encourage players to run more situational cards. And yeah, that's about it. Really looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.